The topic on extraterrestrial disclosure is one that has always been looked down upon over the years, especially in Africa, where it is considered taboo to speak on such matters. This might come as such a shock when we come to realize past African traditional beliefs were directly tied to matters of extraterrestrial encounters and even worship. These beliefs were foolishly dismissed with the coming of Christianity brought by the missionaries in 19th and 20th century. These missionaries came and declared African beliefs foolish and ignorant. It was seen as pagan and idol worship. Africans were quickly told to stop believing in their African beliefs or end up suffering the consequences. These beliefs were quickly put aside and replaced with Christianity, which today still has a chokehold on my people mentally. Jomo Kenyatta, the first Kenyan president and a well-known Freemason, best described the events that took place when he said, "When the missionaries arrived, the Africans had the land and the missionaries had the Bible. They taught us how to pray with our eyes closed. When we opened them, they had the land and we had the Bible." The notion that ancient African knowledge should not be taken seriously is pure ignorance of the highest degree, because we then come to lack true understanding of ourselves as Africans and overall human beings. With reference to a well-known and respected South African shaman, Credo Mutwa, luckily our beliefs were not entirely discarded but kept a secret and hidden from the public eye with the aim of safeguarding this knowledge. This was done all throughout Africa, with shamans of respective tribes doing their best to keep the knowledge secret and ongoing. This is how, myself, I was able to learn about the knowledge that I already possess and hope to share to as many people as I can in this video. According to the knowledge passed down by the wise men and women of Africa and various sangomas such as Credo Mutwa and Zamalek Giza, it is believed that there are various worlds in this universe that we live in, and that it would be an insult to the Creator to believe God only created living things on this earth. It is believed that there are other worlds besides ours, which Africans went on to describe. According to ancient knowledge, the first encounter between Africans and extraterrestrials occurred around 7,000 years ago in Africa. A creature known as the Nomo landed in Africa with a spherical vessel. The creature had webbed hands and feet and was described as having the head of a fish but the body of a human being.
The wise men with the grey beards and the wise women with the grey hair used to say this, and I heard them again and again in my long journey of initiation. It is an insult to believe that God, the great planter of life, only planted life upon this, our shabby little world. No, there are other worlds besides ours. There are other worlds beside our Mother Earth, upon which life exists. The Africans even went on to describe 14 of these worlds. Some have got huge freshwater lakes which are as big as seas but no oceans. It is said that only 2 worlds are covered with salt water. The first one is the world of the Nomo. The first encounter between Africans and extraterrestrial beings occurred more than 7,000 years ago. It is said that a door opened in this strange metallic sphere, and out of the sphere there came a long line of strange creatures, creatures that walked like human beings, creatures that had webbed feet and webbed hands. The leading creature lifted up its stick and its right hand, and it addressed the people as follows. People of this world, we are the Numu people. We come from the land of the star of Kiri-Dahu. We come from the star you know as the star of the red dog. Listen to our words, because we have been sent by a very high one in a high place to make certain truths known to you. The people listened spellbound as the strange creature spoke. It spoke for days, we are told, telling our people about the mysteries of the cosmos. It spoke for days, we are told, telling our people about the mysteries of creation. The creature told our people that the race of humanity was once great amongst the stars, that human beings were once the leading race in the great cluster of stars, the galaxy. The creature said that because human beings were so vicious, so aggressive towards other intelligent creatures and towards living things in general, a great war broke out amongst the stars as several worlds joined forces against the human race, fought it and drove it away from the center of the great star flower to seek refuge in this forgotten world of ours. The Numu or the Numu or the Nomo told our people that there were many races amongst the stars, races of living beings who were afraid of us human beings, who kept us under constant observation to ensure that never again do we become a threat to other intelligent creatures amongst the worlds. The Numu or the Nomo told the people that if we human beings could get rid of hatred, if we could get rid of war, if we could get rid of disease, if we could get rid of selfishness, the great gathering of the star worlds would once more receive us with open arms to take once more our rightful place in the great kingdom of the worlds.
It is said that the creature's sole purpose of coming to Africa was to warn human beings of the dangers of technology and the effects it can have on society. This story seems to make sense, as today we can see how technology has negatively impacted our environment and our connection with Mother Nature. We are also told that the creature mentioned that humans were once important figures in the galaxy, but because human beings were so vicious and aggressive towards other living creatures and entities, they were banished to Earth as a form of punishment. The Nomo also mentioned that this world was artificially created so as to breed life which would then spread to other neighboring worlds. It emphasized that living things that do not do this will eventually die out and exterminate themselves. It is interesting to note that the matter of reproducing is also mentioned in the creation stories of the Bible in Genesis. The creature was then said to destroy itself, and pieces of it were eaten by Africans ceremoniously. This was meant to act as a covenant agreement between Africans and the entity to try their best to not destroy the earth, something which today we have not clearly followed. This ancient African story is found throughout Africa, from West Africa to South Africa. It is believed Africans throughout history avoided technology so as to avoid its detrimental effects to the environment and were heeding to the advice of the Nomo. This can be said to be true because in a lot of African languages there is a term used to refer to technology. This could mean that Africans were aware of technology but chose to avoid it for spiritual reasons linked with the Nomo. We can also look at the Vadoma people of Zimbabwe to see how extraterrestrial influence is directly tied to African traditional beliefs. Looking at the Vadoma people, we can clearly see that they are very different in appearance to other tribes throughout Africa. This is because, unlike other human beings, the Vadoma people only have 2 toes on each foot, something that looks very extraterrestrial. When asked about why they have 2 toes, the Vadoma people believe that they directly descend from extraterrestrials. They are one of the few tribes in Africa that claim this. They claim in their ancient folklore that star beings that came from the sky came down and mated with their people. They further state that these star people had only 2 fingers on each hand and 2 toes on each foot. They claim through this interaction is how they developed the genetic trait of having 2 toes on each foot. They call this creature the Galube. They also believe the Galube controls the weather, both rain and drought. The Galube was said to have a very large and elongated skull alongside the 2 fingers and 2 toes. Throughout ancient and modern Africa, you can see a lot of tribes who purposely elongate or modify their skull so as to appear larger than it should be, or wear headdresses that make their head seem larger than usual. The reasoning behind this modification was so as to venerate these extraterrestrials. Good examples of this was ancient Egypt, where they would purposely do these procedures, and also some Nigerian tribes practice this. Another well-known star entity in African folklore is the Mothman creature. It has various names throughout Africa, so it would only make sense to call it the Mothman as a generalization and not cause confusion. The creature is said to look like a moth or bat, hence the name given. It is a humanoid creature with arms and legs, but the arms are at the end of very long wings. This creature was often seen flying in ancient Africa, especially in southern and central Africa. It was also believed that whoever saw the creature up close was soon stricken blind. This creature is said to rarely appear, and when it would appear, it would put a bad curse in the area it appeared or a bad omen. So every time this creature appeared in an area, a medicine man or a sangoma was called so as to cleanse the area, otherwise a bad event may occur in the area. It is interesting to note that this creature is also talked about in Western culture and was spotted in North America several times during the 60s and 70s. In the US, specifically the state of New Jersey, they annually host a festival known as the annual Mothman Festival every year to honor the legacy of this creature. Similar to the African folklore of the Mothman, this creature is also known to be seen before natural disasters happen. In 1967, the Silver Bridge in New Jersey collapsed and 46 people died from the incident. There were several Mothman sightings the days before the bridge collapsed. This clearly shows the creature being talked about in African beliefs is the same creature being talked about in the Western beliefs, making this story even more plausible. Another well-known African extraterrestrial talked about in African culture is the Tokoloshi. This is a well-known extraterrestrial from the Bantu communities. It is a dwarf-like hairy creature. It is said to be mischievous and evil creature that can become invisible by drinking water or swallowing a stone. Tokoloshis are called upon by malevolent people to cause trouble for others. At its least harmful, a Tokoloshi can be used to scare children, but its power extends to causing illness or even death of the victim. The creature might be banished by a sangoma, who has the power to expel it from the area. This creature from its description can be seen to be some sort of different entity that definitely comes from somewhere else that's not this planet. The story of the Tokoloshe extends to areas of Polynesia. Some tribes in Polynesia build their huts on stilts that are extended very high from the ground, and when asked why they do this, they will say they are doing this to prevent a dwarf-like creature from attacking them. The description of the dwarf-like creature is eerily similar to the ones described by the Bantus in Africa. Again, this cannot be seen as a coincidence that people separated by many kilometers are giving the same account of stories of a similar creature. There must be some truth to the stories. Another well-known and feared entity seen throughout Africa is the grey aliens. These aliens have different names throughout Africa, notably in South Africa among the Zulu people. The Zulu people refer to it as the Mantindane. The creature is about 3 feet tall and has grey skin. It looks exactly like the grey alien depicted in Western culture. This creature among Africans was known to abduct humans and experiment with them in spacecrafts. They were thoroughly feared by Africans because of the immense torture they would put you through when they abducted you. Credo Mutwa, a well-known South African Sangoma, was himself abducted by a grey alien, and he describes this encounter in his book, Indaba, My Children. So this is it on the links between African traditional beliefs and extraterrestrials. If you love this video, remember to hit the like button, subscribe and comment your take on this. Cheers, until later.